Most people believe they're free. They wake up, make decisions, have opinions, choose partners, set goals. It feels like freedom. But what if most of what you call choice is conditioning? What if your type in relationships isn't preference, but repetition? What if your anger isn't about today, but about something unfinished from years ago? And what if the life you're building is being quietly directed by forces you've never examined? Carl Jung believed something unsettling. Human beings are not born psychologically free. Freedom is rare, and most people never reach it. Not because they're oppressed by the world, but because they're governed by what they refuse to see within themselves. Let me ask you something simple. If certain people can trigger you instantly, if you keep repeating the same patterns, if you promise yourself you'll change and don't, are you choosing or are you reacting? Jung argued that the unconscious mind is not passive. It's not just a storage room of forgotten memories. It's active. It influences who you're attracted to, what threatens you, what you avoid, what you defend, what you believe about yourself. And when you ignore it, it doesn't disappear. It leaks through anxiety, through resentment, through self-sabotage, through the strange feeling that you're living slightly off track. You've probably experienced it. Overreacting to something small, feeling irritated by someone for reasons you can't explain, being drawn to the same kind of relationship, even when it hurts you. Jung would say these are not random flaws, they are unconscious material demanding recognition. One of his most dangerous insights was this: what you refuse to acknowledge in yourself does not weaken. It grows stronger in the dark. This is where the idea of the shadow begins. The shadow isn't evil. It's everything about you that didn't get approval. Your anger, your envy, your need for control, your desire to dominate, your fear of being insignificant. As a child, you learned which traits earned love and which ones cost it. So you kept the acceptable parts and buried the rest. But buried doesn't mean gone. It means powerful. Unacknowledged anger turns into passive aggression. Unacknowledged envy turns into criticism. Unacknowledged fear turns into rigidity. And the most dangerous part? You don't see it as yours. You see it in other people. Jung called this projection. You judge someone for being arrogant, but secretly long for recognition. You despise someone's selfishness, but never allow yourself to say no. You idolize someone's confidence because you buried your own. Until you reclaim these projections, your emotional life is controlled by the outside world, and that is not freedom. But Jung went even deeper. He believed that beneath your personal wounds exists something older, inherited patterns, psychological blueprints shared by humanity. He called this the collective unconscious. Archetypes: the hero, the victim, the ruler, the martyr, the saviour. These roles feel personal, but often they're scripts. You might feel compelled to fix everyone, to prove yourself constantly, to suffer silently, to fight every battle. And it feels like identity, but Jung warned, when you unconsciously identify with an archetype, you are possessed by it. The hero burns out. The victim repeats injustice. The ruler fears losing control. Freedom requires stepping back and asking, is this truly me, or is this a role I never questioned? And this leads to the most uncomfortable truth of all. Awareness alone does not make you free. You can understand your trauma, name your shadow, explain your patterns, and still live the same way. Insight without responsibility changes nothing. Freedom begins the moment you take ownership of what you see. When you pause instead of react. When you admit what you've been projecting. When you choose differently, even when it's uncomfortable. Most people prefer familiar suffering over unfamiliar responsibility, because responsibility removes excuses. Jung believed individuation, true psychological freedom, is not about perfection. It's about integration. Holding your anger without being ruled by it. Feeling fear without obeying it. Recognizing desire without being possessed by it. Freedom is not the absence of conflict. It is the ability to stay conscious inside it. And here's the quiet test life keeps giving you. The same triggers return. The same emotional patterns reappear. The same conflicts repeat. Not to punish you, but to ask, are you awake yet? Every reaction is a doorway. Every irritation is information. Every emotional disturbance is an invitation to become more conscious. And when you stop running from yourself, something shifts. You no longer need constant distraction. You no longer need enemies to feel strong. You no longer need approval to feel real. You respond instead of react. In that pause, that small space between impulse and action, freedom lives. Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is becoming who you truly are. Not who your fear protects, not who your projections defend, but who remains when illusion falls away. No one can do this work for you. No ideology, no relationship, no external system. Freedom is not granted, it is earned, moment by moment, through awareness and responsibility. So ask yourself honestly, where are you still reacting? Where are you still blaming? Where are you still repeating? Because the greatest prison is not outside of you. It is the part of you you refuse to see. And the moment you turn toward it instead of away from it, that's where freedom begins. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe.